Remember when I said that we should be expecting part 2 of the This Is Anthem series, and that I thought it would go over endgame stuff? Well, that actually happened. It came out last night, kind of. It didn't come out on the official Anthem channel, it came out on, I believe, a PlayStation Korean YouTube channel, but it was all in English with, you know, the subtitles in the bottom, as you can see. I say kind of because this video was taken down, but I managed to grab the video before it went down. So today we'll be covering what's in the trailer, but more specifically more info on Cataclysms and the final Stronghold that we know nothing about. There are minor story spoilers in this, so do take that with a pinch of salt. I'm not going to spoil everything for you, but for us to go over that final Stronghold, we need to talk about that a little bit. My name is Ryan Central. You can subscribe for more Anthem content if you want. We have a giveaway going on at the moment for a Legion of Dawn edition copy of the game. The runner-up to the giveaway will also get a standard copy on any platform too, so really easy to enter down in the comments and description below. We'll go over details of the latest Stronghold, but before that we need to talk about the context of the story. To take a clip of what John Warner said here, this is how players will start the game in Anthem. Those that played the alpha will know exactly what I'm talking about here.
When you start Anthem, you are a freshly recruited freelancer that joins a failed mission to shut down a cataclysm called the Heart of Rage.
And also to provide other context, we know that there's going to be 3 strongholds in the game at launch, one of which most of us played in the demo, which is the Tyrant Mine. We also got to check out Temple of the Scar, which is the gameplay that you're seeing in the background. Us EA Game Changers got to play this at Endgame in the playtest event, and you also saw it on a live stream just before the end of 2018. But the third stronghold we didn't know anything about, up until now, because unfortunately BioWare kinda spoilt it for us here. Remember what I was saying about the Heart of Rage? Well, this is the daily challenge that came up towards the latter end of this video. Successfully complete a return to the Heart of Rage stronghold, which sounds really exciting actually. The Heart of Rage seems to be a really important aspect of the story, and maybe towards the end of the critical path, once you've got better gear, you've got a better team, you're ready to go, you jump right back in there and you kick some ass. So we know the 3 names of the strongholds at launch, but what does it look like? Well, other than the gameplay that we saw at the start, which again was for the tutorial, we don't know an awful lot about it, and we certainly haven't seen any stronghold gameplay, but here are a couple of clips of what I believe to be the Heart of Rage. It looks beautiful, but we might have to wait until launch to actually experience it. So now we know the 3 strongholds that we'll be in at launch: the Tyrant Mine, Temple of the Scars, and a return to the Heart of Rage. But that's not the only form of endgame content that's going to be in there. We of course have the legendary contracts, which they went over briefly here. It's stuff that we already know about. We have the different reputations, we have these dynamic legendary contracts that we have to go and do. The one that was spoken about in the trailer was one that we got to experience again with some endgame content, so here's some gameplay in the background. First time I played Colossus, by the way, so it's pretty bad gameplay looking back at it. But the thing that I really wanted to highlight about this is we tried this on Grandmaster and we had some different missions that we had to do. Even though we were doing the same legendary contract, it required us to go somewhere else and do something a little bit different. So these missions are very dynamic. Whilst you may be repeating a lot of these missions, the missions themselves do vary, so really helps with the longevity of doing these legendary contracts. Another major thing that has to do with longevity is the difficulty system. There are 6 difficulties within Anthem, 3 of which unlock at endgame, Grandmaster 1, 2 and 3. However, there was a little bit of a change to how much damage the mobs do when it comes to scaling. Going off an old picture, it says that the damage and health that the enemies have is increased by 3100% for Grandmaster 3. However, in this new gameplay shot, it says that it's only 950%. Only 950%. You get what I mean? Now, there's been a bit of a drop, so somebody asked on Twitter, why is it different? Was GM3 changed in the most recent build? Was 3100%, but gameplay 2 lists 950%. Ben Eving says we can update everyone on the latest end of this week or early next week. Granted that this gameplay hasn't gone onto any official channel, nor have the devs acknowledged this on Twitter or social media, so maybe this went out early, maybe it was done wrong, who knows? But certainly something to bear in mind. They're still balancing the game, still something that they need to work out. And also it means that more information on endgame is still incoming. But on the face of it, 3100% does seem a bit excessive, but maybe that was balanced, I don't know. In this gameplay, we also got to see a few masterwork weapons and the perks that they have. The first one we saw was the Devastator, of course, a fan favourite sniper rifle, does charged up shots. This was a masterwork version, but as you can see sort of awkwardly under the Korean text, you can see it increases the speed of the Colossus's assault launcher ability slot by 20%, but also if you equip this weapon on your Interceptor, it increases the strike system ability speed by 50% too. So this is a great great masterwork ability to have on both your Colossus, but also Interceptor, and it's really interesting that the same weapon can do different things on different javelins. I don't really know what it means by 20% speed, whether that's the cooldown, whether that's the speed that these abilities go out, or especially for the Colossus it might be how quickly you can get your assault launcher ability ready, because there is a bit of a load up time, so maybe that's something to do there. It also increases your ammo for your pistol and also ammo for your LMG. It doesn't have any specific perk, it's just a masterwork version of the Devastator, but there's some still pretty good stuff on there. You can see how a masterwork weapon is crafted. Of course, you need to get the blueprints for these weapons, which you do from doing contracts, getting reputation with certain people. Specifically, I don't know how to get the Cycle of Pain, for example, but that's generally the system that goes into place. However, we can see how much it requires to craft these things. You can see there's chimeric alloys, compounds, and weapon parts, and also masterwork embers. So the key thing to really note here is keep a hold of all of your different resources. Pick up everything, because you pick up chimeric alloys early game and weapon parts throughout the process, so don't scrap them or waste them on smaller stuff, especially when leveling. Your best bet is to just take what you can get as you're leveling and not craft anything, because you'll need those resources for endgame. You're going to need them at some point, so pick up everything. You don't know when you're going to need it. But it does look like the way that you craft uncommon, epic, rare, and masterwork versions of weapons all relies on embers. And if you played the demo, you got to pick up some rare embers, some uncommon embers, but you can see masterwork embers are available in the game too. I think whoever's playing this might have a bit too many resources of all of them, but you get the point. Looking at the weapon specifically, we can see that it's a Cycle of Pain. It's a light machine gun that's a unique name, therefore it has its own unique perks. It's an upgraded sledgehammer, which has a slower rate of fire, but it's best for striking power. You can see the damage stuff on there, but it has the perk Marksman Swiftness. When you hit weak points, it temporarily increases weapon rate of fire, which stacks multiple times. Which, as I just went over with the weapon type, the sledgehammer is a bit slower, so increasing that speed on this weapon is pretty strong. Of course, when you craft this, you will get 4 random inscriptions. The random inscriptions that this craft got was 9% ice damage, 125% magazine size on a weapon, not quite sure which one, 60% ammo also on weapons, as well as 35% speed on a ranger's grenade gear slot. So a pretty good roll if you ask me. But also for a split second you can see Renewed Courage, which is the light machine gun in the background. It's an upgraded Savage, which has the fastest rate of fire in the light machine gun class. And it has something called Survivor's Balance, where the last shot reduces recoil by 50% for the next 20 seconds and it stacks twice. Because of course the Savage, because it fires so fast, it tends to recoil quite a lot, so this really helps with the accuracy, again making this weapon a lot better before. It also increases damage with sniper rifles, so pair this up with a Devastator and you've got some pretty good stuff going on. But also increases your gear speed in general by 6%. Another weapon that was crafted was Artinia's Gambit. We only got to see this for a split second. It's an upgraded Relentless. So we've got to see all of the versions of the light machine guns. This is the most balanced in comparison to the Sledgehammer and the Savage. But the perk is pretty interesting. When reloading, it detonates a combo explosion in the immediate area. It increases weapon damage in general for the Colossus, shotgun ammo, sniper ammo, and also physical damage too. So for example, you could pair this up with the tanky Colossus alongside the Devastator that we saw earlier. So we know all of the masterwork perks for the light machine guns. There might be more versions, but at least for launch, we know that there's going to be Cycle of Pain, Renewed Courage, and lastly, Artinia's Gambit. So out of those 3, which one would you want to pick up? But how do we earn these Masterwork Embers? Well, we got a glimpse at that too. There are dailies, weeklies, and monthlies in the game. Of course, we saw a brief glimpse at the daily doing the Stronghold that I mentioned at the start of this video, but you can see here that we need to do some daily challenges, 30 in total, so basically 1 a day, and 10 weekly challenges. It says that you need to do 30 daily challenges, but I don't think that that's just 1 a day. For example, there are 3 factions in the game. Maybe you do a daily for each of the 3. That's 3 in 1 day. You can get this done in 10 days. But the reward for this is really interesting. 100 Masterwork Embers, which from the looks of it means that you can craft 4 Masterwork items. So you definitely want to try and get this done. We got to look at different contracts with different rewards. You can see double epics for the Scar Control one here, for example, and also Hazard Play, which gives away free rares. We got a very brief look at the social hub again with a lot of people in it. I honestly can't wait to be sat in here for the launch of the game. It wasn't in the demo, but it is really fun and cool to be in. You could go to the Forge, the store, and also pick missions from there, instead of just wandering around in Fort Tarsis. And the final thing that I wanted to go over is a little bit more information about Cataclysms. I'm going to quote what John Warner says here because I don't want to just play the clip, just in case YouTube is striking these videos, which might be a very likely thing. He says that our most ambitious and challenging content will come to Anthem in the form of Cataclysms, which are time-limited world events that cause physical manifestations, extreme weather, incursions of dangerous hostile enemies, and new mysteries to solve. So we got a very brief glimpse of this in the demo. The skybox in the sky looks very similar, but of course we've got to check out some Ash Titan fights in the game. With any luck, Cataclysms provide a little bit more endgame content as such. Hopefully the endgame content isn't just these kind of things that we saw in the demo, but as they highlighted, it was just a tease of what they can do. I would like to see more instanced content like Strongholds, but it also does raise the question, what the hell happened to Shaper Storms? I hope that they're still in the game. I hope that Shaper Storms haven't been changed into Cataclysms, but it has been a while since we've heard the words Shaper Storm come out of the mouths of the devs. Not to mention that they described the Heart of Rage as a cataclysm and not a Shaper Storm, which maybe means that they're not referring to anything as a Shaper Storm anymore, instead they are cataclysms. Which raises the question, why? Which is a little bit of a concern of mine, but everything that's in this trailer is pretty cool. I did want to ask you guys, what do you think happened to Shaper Storms? Do you think they're still in the game? Do you think the Shaper Storms became cataclysms? I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. But that's everything I wanted to cover today, so thank you very much for watching. As I said at the start of the video, this trailer was taken down, but there were a couple of re-uploads, which you can check in the description below. No idea when it'll go live again. I didn't just want to play the trailer because I do think that YouTube is striking some of these videos that include clips from the trailer, so I'm playing this one pretty safe. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and more information on the final Stronghold, which sounds really exciting, and of course more information on Cataclysms, with no doubt more information to come. I hope Shaper Storms are still a thing. I really hope so. They sound so cool. I want to fly into a storm and see what's inside. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.